What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you're having a good morning here so far, but let's get to work. Market is moving. If we take a look intraday, or actually, let's do this. Bottom of your screen there, these last three New York sessions, including, of course, today's as of so far, I should say, these look tremendously different than the daily bars we've been getting for the last however many weeks. So volatility is up. That's a very good thing. So let's see what we can put together here today. Good morning, guys. How we doing? John, Kane, Dollar Bill. What's up, guys? Lert, how we doing? Good morning. Trading Chris, good to see you. Chris K, how we doing? Mike Gaines, what's up, guys? Home got funded after 2 years. Tremendous work. Vanny, how we doing? Brandon, good morning. Taz, Vanny, what's up, guys? Chris, good morning so far. Good work. All right, we got 1 minute and 43 seconds out here until the rollover of this 2-minute bar. I would love, right about now, to see a nice strong bull bar closing above the previous bar's wick high, but inside of this little curl, maybe about right here. If we can get a nice strong bull bar closing maybe about right here, I'd like to sell that rollover. See if we can get it. Obviously, we're in a trading range right now. Right, I mean, we had what you could argue a bit of a bull trend, of course, this morning shortly after the open, but now there's a 2-minute chart, by the way, is what we're looking at. I'd probably draw this. Hey, what's most obvious? What's everyone kind of looking at? I'd say everyone's probably kind of looking at these, you know, those two wedges. Take your pick. I'm going to go with what I think is the more clear one right now, which I'd probably draw as this. Don't overthink it. Not an exact science. Just trying to get an idea of what everyone's seeing. Giovanni Joe, good morning. How we doing? Peter, good to see you. Gains, one funded 50K, just passed another 50K eval. Good work. 35 seconds out here. Let's see if we get that close out of the bulls. All right. Copy trader engaged. 6 seconds. Beauty. Gonna have to get short limit order out. There we go. We got a fill. And I'm gonna plant this guy relatively tight. Boom. I'll pull this guy down. Though, of course, common misunderstanding last week. That's not my target. I'm leaving myself exposed to news. Okay, and then I'm driving manually from there. So, there you are. There's position window top left. Let's see if we can get a quick little hit here off the rip. ATR, by the way, about 17-18. See if the bears can fade that right back into the channel. Well, Scott, you're here now, brother. All right, bull trying to take it higher. Got my eye on this wick here, this wick here. It's not the end of the world if they pop it through. Yeah, when you're scalping ranges, man, it's never an exact science. It's always kind of a... give it a little bit of room, structure a trade that makes some mathematical sense, and go from there. Gaines, hey, big question. Is it just preference to choose monthly over lifetime activation fees? No. Well, I guess it's preference, sure. But it's preference as far as your business model, okay? So you got to look at that, run some numbers. If you don't have those numbers yet, because you haven't had that many funded accounts, you have to do your best to estimate what that's going to look like. But figure out the average lifetime length of your average funded account. Okay, now if you hold on to your average funded account average being the key word here, for, 4 months, 3 months, then go lifetime. If you're blowing through them in 3 weeks on average, man, then go monthly, of course. And by the way, doesn't mean it's better or worse. It just means you're trading more aggressively or less aggressively. People who are very, very aggressive are going to blow through funded accounts a little bit quicker. If they're taking payouts, that doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong, right? Chris, good morning. How we doing? All right, minute 18 left here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see, got my eye on this wick. There's the test right now. We got a second wick and a third. Chris says, working my way back from a red pre-market. It's all right. $35 seconds out here. Let's see how this bar closes. If it closes like it's sitting right now, then we'll just cut this thing early. Well, not early. We'll cut it according to plan. But if it wicks back, then I got to leave it. Because then the bears, you can tell, are trying to fade it back into the range. 20 seconds out. Let's see what we get. Yeah, wick back. Gotta leave that, let the stop do its job. All right, so, by the way, 5-minute and 2-minute. 5-minute is top left, 2-minute is top right. We've got a dual rollover here coming. So I am curious to see how this 5-minute bar closes. Obviously, if we close above this wick here, top left of your screen, then the server side stop, meaning my live stop order that's already out, will take over and do its job. As far as responsibility here. Michael, good morning. How we doing? I mean, about 180 points on that push here this morning. I imagine we had a lot of people getting burned and a lot of people passing a lot of evals, huh? Which side were you guys on this morning with that big bull trend off the rip? That's it, Bears. Fade that thing back into the range. All right, bears. So I'm watching this flat bottom here, by the way. All right, I don't really want to challenge that too hard, but that's really what I'm keeping my eye on. Not the prettiest bear rollover. But that's all right, not a management bar. All right, yeah, ATR here down to about 15 from about 17. I imagine ATR is going to hold in the teens. It would surprise me if after the last couple of days, the end of last week, if ATR tanked down beneath like 8. That would really surprise me here. So let's be hopeful that it remains in the teens. That would be very nice to see. Today, you can see bulls trying to take this thing back higher. Again, you know, on these trades, when do I manage early? Well, I would manage early if there was a setup that I would get long on, because I'm currently sitting short. If there was a setup in between, well, I suppose really in any case, even if I was in the green, but especially in between the break-even point and the stop point, which is relatively tight, so the chances of this happening are not entirely likely on this trade. But if there's a setup in between there, where I would get long if I were flat and I'm sitting short, then I go from short to flat. Okay, rather than flat to long, which I would do if I were flat. So basically, it's like an early stop out if that were to occur. Now that, I would not have gotten long on that bar. Okay, so why would I make a buy decision, which is essentially a stop out decision here when I already have my stop placed at, you know, above that third wick right here. So, you know, let's see here. You can tell the bears are trying to fade it back down into the range. Yeah, not doing a great job here so far. Doug says, I have an idea why, but why would you not reverse position? He's asking if, you know, if I would stop myself out early, let's say, because there's a long setup, that I would buy if I were flat, but I'm sitting short. There's a long setup, so I flatten myself. Why would I not just go from short to long? Yeah, I get this question a lot. The primary reason is because the copy trader is oftentimes really hard to get it to reverse seamlessly without a whole bunch of issues, and when by the time you do flatten the copy trader, make sure everything's good, you reset it and then get long, it's oftentimes just too late. So, I mean, that's kind of the reality. I mean, we're trading prop, man. There's a few sacrifices that come with that, a few inconveniences, mostly the copy trader. Yes, that's right, Joe. That's right. In this particular case, my actual live stop will do its job before I would really have a valid long setup, and that's intentional, by the way. So this makes me start to think, hey, is this kind of deal going to happen? Does that start to happen? If so, then we got to look at a high a day. But not until we actually get a real setup to take. Right now, I still got to think range. Hey, Wolf, how we doing? Christian, what's up, brother? Good morning. How we doing? Hey, why don't you watch order flow, please? I watch order flow very heavily on stocks. Particularly like small cap stocks. It's most of what I watch. I spend about 20% of the time looking at the chart, 80% reading the level 2 in the tape. But the futures market's extremely deep, and there's always a lot of volume. Now, is there more volume sometimes than others? Of course, like anything else. But for me, I just can't justify the mental capital on futures, because we're dealing with the Pacific Ocean here rather than sailing over a coral reef like a small cap stock. You understand? Where you have to read the depth gauge. That's me. That's my opinion. If you make money reading order flow, volume on futures, have at it. There's a million ways to do this. Sounds good, Christian. Doing well. Biblical, good morning. How we doing? All right, so, right now, I always like to look at the opposite side's argument. He's setting support, flat bottom. Do we see this? Do we see that start to form? This holds, pushes it up, stops me out. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But in the last few weeks, this is where market context becomes so important. In the last few weeks, on average, now again, one trade, small sample size, big deal, right? We'll see what happens here. But Got to try to make the best decision based on the biggest sample size we can. So in the last few weeks, what have we been seeing? When people have fallen for these little short-lived trend lines, they tend to not hold out all that long. And you start looking back to the bigger range. So for me, I'm still looking at the bigger range. That's, right now, for me, it's the better bet. Maybe 6 times out of 10. Which is all you need, man. Oops. All right, there's a bit of a push out of the Bears. Let's go Bills. Let's go Bears. Backfill that range. Let's take it down, getting near a test of that little flat bottom. Is what I'd like. Yeah, not enough there. Not yet. Biblical, I was watching the 0 to 100K series this weekend. You're trading differently from that series, correct? I've been trading differently when the market calls for it, right? So when the market context shifts, like remember, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago at this point, we were trading primarily arbitrary 40-point stop, 40-point take profits. And the win rate was stupid, man. It was like 68, 70%. At 1-to-1, which was great. And then the market shifted and we had to shift with it. So when that series, when we were making those videos, the market was of course a little bit different. So I've actually returned, I'm trading more like I was during the series now than I was even when I first started the stream maybe 4 months ago. It's just cyclical. You gotta do your best to assess the market context, then apply your style of trading to that. All right, Bears, come on now. Backfill that little range. Yeah, biblical. I've actually on stream here, I have scalped for like 5 points when volatility is very low. Like if ATR is like 9, I've scalped for 6 points here on stream. I don't prefer to. Honestly, it's just easier. It's just easier to make money when volatility is a little bit higher and you can squeeze out a little more points than that. But yeah, man, we've done it. Man, 4th of July, we were scalping for like 3 points. All right, ATR is sitting about 14 right now, so it's slowly fading, but the fade has slowed. The rate of the fade, I should say, has slowed. Dropped from 17 to 15, like nothing in a few minutes, and now here we are at 14. I still think we're going to hold in the teens, as far as the ATR is concerned. Let's hope that's the case. All right, so again, still kind of watching this as a flat. You have an argument for a flat up top here. Now we got to watch for this argument. Again, we talked about earlier. Does that end up being a thing? All right, let's see if the bulls pop through these two wicks. Obviously, this here is the look. This wick here, and then, of course, the following, they wicked back at the same point. So let's see if they can just pop it through and we can end this thing. You know, down here, I really wanted to see at least maybe take out at least maybe 15, 16 points, if not take out the bottom here. We never quite got it. Okay, so it's flatten here on the copy trader. All right, we're good. Small little loser, 1,800 bucks. Let's move on. 56 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar, but this is range bound, man. So we really got to keep an eye on this kind of look here. That's what I'm watching. Now let's clean this up. Let's see what we can get. Right, decent actually closed there out of the bulls. I want one more bar. Want a little bit more information here on how this range is going to develop. Let's see if we get a trade here. Minute 50 out. Okay. 38 seconds here till the rollover of this 2-minute bar. We got a minute 35 until the rollover of the 5-minute bar. All right. Boom, gotta fill. Suck that guy up. Gonna give this trade some time here. All right, that trade will likely take a little bit of time unless we get some volatility here. That's all right. That's part of the game. But got to slap it on. Now again, this could obviously still be a range. Okay, that could absolutely still be a range. That's why I'm giving this one more time. That right there, that's what I'm looking for. Exactly what we just put on, baby. High at days at 63.50, by the way. Yeah, Joe, clean close, by the way, on the 5-minute. I front ran that thing just a tad here, using the 2-minute. 2-minute closed 1 minute early, or I guess before the 5-minute. Yeah, Caden, exactly. I would love it if we could stop hunt those highs around 63, 64. But we got to see how we approach that, the price action. Amir, how do you keep calm in a red trade? I don't care. I don't care. You guys care too much. And I get it. We're here to make money. You're here to provide for your families. What else is there to care about in life more than that, right? If you make money at the end of the month, who gives a shit if you win or lose this one? Who cares? It just doesn't matter. Losing is part of winning in trading. If you can't lose, man, you shouldn't trade. Straight up. And if you're really emotional about losing, you're trading too big. You gotta size down. All right, decent little push. All right, highs are here at 63.50. And I think those are good for probably at least a 3.5 point push. So I'm gonna leave that there for a second. If we don't get a push through, I wanna suck it back out so that my exposure isn't lopsided like this. See if they can pop it through. The high is right about there, where my cursor's at. All right, bulls, pop us through that little high. Take out those stops. 3-4 points of rocket fuel. And book it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Holding back on the high. I want those extra 3-4 points. Part of the trade here, right? Jason, good morning. How we doing? Bear's trying to pull it back. We rejected basically at the tick of the high of day. Now again, part of this trade idea for me is I want to get 3.5-4 points of rocket fuel through the high from those stops. All right, stop hunting. Now if you double top that high and pull back, yeah, fine. But most of the time you're gonna at least test and push through. When it's a high a day like this, maybe 5 or so points. So I'll take, an extra 3.5-4 points of rocket fuel, depending on how I get filled. Here comes another test. Let's see if we pop through. Do it to them, bulls. There it is. See that? You get a little pop through, you stop hunt, gives you an extra, 3-4 points, kind of for free in a lot of cases, assuming you get a fill. And that helps with the edge, right? That helps pad the edge. All right. So, green on the day. 2 trades, 1 winner, 1 loser, green on the day. All right, minute 16 out from the close here of this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. See those bears those bulls kind of hesitating? Right around the high of day, right? Top left, 5-minute chart. See that? They're kind of holding off right at the high of day. It's pretty representative of a range market, I gotta tell you. In trend markets, that pop through probably would have given us a bull bar closing near the high that I would have had to buy again. In a range market like we're seeing still, now again, don't get me wrong, bottom of your screen, volatility is definitely increasing, but this is not a trend market yet. Absolutely not. Right, so pretty representative of a range. You pop through and immediately fade back. From here, we need more information. So let's watch the next 2-minute bar. This one's going to roll over here in 2 seconds. There's the rollover. Let's get more information here. Kind of a doji. Christian, can you give us a rundown on why you entered? When you did, I entered using a stop limit buy order just above the close of that bull bar there. Shrinking a little bit, sure, but we had the high of day stops to add to that trade. So I was like, yeah, that's enough for me to put on. So I put a stop limit buy, planted it, instantly got a fill, barely got the order out in time. And I was able to risk basically most of the curl, looking for to take out those stops up top. Now, with this shrinking bull bar and the potential for this to be a thing, had we not had those stops up top, I wouldn't have put that on. But the stop hunting is a huge, huge influence on my trading. If the stops are there and established, how do you know they're there? Well, look for an obvious curl or an obvious low or high of day that's been established for a good amount of time, that had, has had time for a lot of stop orders to accumulate above or below. That high a day had been sitting there for 2 hours plus. Plenty of stops up there. Now, I got to tell you, we actually got a little bit less rocket fuel than I maybe anticipated. So I think we pretty much top ticked it. My order was at 67. The take profit, right? Ooh, guess what, by the way? You guys know I've done giveaways for take profit accounts, right? Still going to do more of those here in the future. Adding to that, I will also be doing giveaways now for Apex evaluation accounts. So we got the bootstrapping company, Take Profit Trader. I think is the best if you're trying to, starting out, trying to bootstrap going full time. You can get some money coming in the bank account. And then Apex, man, it's the way to go to scale. So we're going to have some Apex giveaways here for Apex evals. And guess what? Code BIG now gives you the best deal always at Tradeify also. You got Take Profit Trader, Apex, and Tradeify. Best deal always with code BIG. And Tradeify here is stop number 3 for your boy. I like Tradeify. And then Bullinox is going to be stop number 4 here. Moving up, baby. But I'll announce when we're doing giveaways here and which company it's for. Price action, baby. Price action mixed with my assessment on market context. That is the strategy. All right, 20 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. You can see up top left, that 5-minute chart is slowing. A little bit of a doji on that last bar. We'll see if the bears end up having a problem with that attempted break of high. You know they're going to, at least temporarily. Trader Sean. Yeah, I've got this question a lot. You ever had any problems with getting Apex payouts? I know some people that had to do video submissions or live video calls showing their trading to validate their trading. One got paid, the other two not yet. I have not had any issues. I've never been denied a payout at Apex. It's probably at some point gonna come just because maybe we get a copy trade or glitch or something that makes the data look all messed up. But I have never been denied. They've always been approved in a reasonable amount of time. And the money always hits. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, Apex, when they pay you out, it can take up to like a week to get the money. I've had it hit as quick as a few days. I've had it hit in like a week and a half. It took like a week and a half on one of them. But it always hits when it's approved. So I wouldn't worry about it, guys. As long as you're following their rules and not doing anything out of what they want for their kind of like textbook traders, I don't worry about it. If they deny you, big deal. Trade another 8 days. This is why you should be trading also probably at Take Profit Trader. Hit Bullinox. I'm going to be hitting Bullinox here soon. Hit Tradeify. I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, with one prop. Yes, sir, we're live every day. Yeah, Rovio, I actually, I don't know if that's true. I've heard of a few streamers who have had issues with getting payouts from Apex just because they broke rules. But, I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, right, maybe they give a little more leeway. Who knows? But I didn't have any problems really before the stream was kind of a real thing anyway. I think if you just follow their rules, Apex wants to have winners, but they want to have winners that follow their rules because then they can use you as like a, wow, look at how many payouts we give. Apex wants to pay people because that's their whole business model. That's how they get new money coming in, right? But they just don't want people gaming the system because that costs them a lot of money and they're still a business, right? All right, 18 seconds out here. From the rollover here, this 2-minute bar, 10 seconds. Let's see what we get, man. It's basically a doji here. You can see these bulls really struggling to actually pop it up through the high. We still top tick that take profit. Looking for a little bit more definitive movement here, and then we can put on trade number 3. Hey, Nico, do you use any prop with end-of-day drawdown like MFFU? I will Tradeify. Tradeify Lightning funded. They have end of day. And I just started with Tradeify. I'm liking it. I have one account with them only so far, though. Kind of just testing it out. But I like it, so I'm going to be proceeding with them, which is why I am now offering code BIG at Tradeify. All right, 27 seconds here. Let's see if we get as far as a close. A lot of inside closes. There's just nothing I can do on these inside bars. Here, here, here. You know, maybe you could do something here, but it's pretty damn smack dab in the middle of the range. Nothing there. See how this closes. 10 seconds. All right here. Okay, so do we have a double top at the high of day? Yeah, I mean, you could argue we have a quad top. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? However, this is kind of hard, you know what I mean? Draw that, you can make this argument. Now the question is, well, do we backfill this entire range? If we see a nice strong bear bar closing near the low, like right here, which do we look at, right? Do we look at this or do we look at this? And honestly, I think you could make both arguments. But if we saw a nice strong bear bar closing near the low, like in this region here, I would buy that and I would just risk this curl, keep it tight. I wouldn't go risk this whole curl or anything because I know that if we break out, we're probably going to have trouble getting much, much higher than the high of day, at least quickly. So that's what I'm thinking about here. Minute 55 out. Let's see how this bar closes. All right, there's the rollover of the 5-minute. Inside close. Top left, you can see here. Very much so an inside, tiny little bear bar. All right, back to the 2. Let's see how this closes here. ATR fading quick, by the way. Man, it's below 12. Ten seconds out here. I need this bear bar to close like way the hell down here. Yeah, inside bar, nothing there. Next candle. 2 minutes out. Yeah, seems that way, Rovio. Price action mixed with my assessment of daily chart New York session plus intraday market context. All right, 15 seconds out here. Let's see if we get another inside close. Yeah, it looks that way, huh? All right, next bar, 2 minutes out. We can only do what we can do. It's a lot of this until it's not, until it's 4 trades back to back to back. All right, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Just getting coffee, don't go anywhere. All right, we are back, baby. What a strong break. Look at that. Oh, broke it by 2 ticks. Nice and strong. All right, ATR still collapsing here, right about 10 on the ATR. We are not holding in the teens. That's kind of surprising. Gotta tell you, based on the volatility we've seen the last couple of days. We were seeing what, like a 20 ATR this time of day? Let's hope to see that come back. And really, you can see here, look at the range on these bars. It was actually quite a bit higher. Dumped off by maybe 40%. All right, 20 seconds out here. Now, just my thought process 15 seconds out. If this thing closes near the high, if I were looking for a scalp, I would not be looking to get long. However, if I were looking for more of a trade, kind of like the last trade, I would be. Plant that 1 tick, give that about 30 seconds, 25 seconds, see if we can get a fill. If not, gotta pull it. Yeah, no fill, gonna pull it. Not quick enough to give us a fill. So now, next bar here, minute 28 out. Kellen, now, how we doing? All right, 8 seconds out here. Let's see if we get an inside close. Looks like we're going to, man. A nice bear bar, by the way, closing near the low outside of the previous bar's wick low, and I would have bought that. But we got an inside close, so we got to wait till the next bar here. 2 minutes out. We got 53 seconds. ATR still slowly falling. Sitting right around 10. All right, now this is likely to be a range, right? However, if we get a clean close, I'm gonna have to plant this. Yep, gonna have to plant it and see if we get a quick fill. 20, 25 seconds, I'll give it. But if it sustains this little pullback back into the range, then we gotta pull it. Because would I prefer to get long on a bear bar closing near its low? I don't know if I'd say I prefer it. But that would be another way for me to get long. Here, though, no fill. Gotta pull it. Yeah, Mike, I mean, don't complain too much, man. ATR is at least about 10. Goodness, we've seen ATR of about 5. Careful what you wish for. Or careful what you complain about, I should say. I'll take 10 over 5, man. Biblical trend, question mark? Yeah, this looks like a soft bull trend to me. So if I'm, putting on a trade near the top end of what I'd call the range in the soft bull trend, I'll use a stop limit entry to make sure that it's already going in my direction when I get a fill, but I would also be willing to buy lows, meaning bear bars closing near their lows. Ideally as close to the bottom of the range as possible. But we also got to keep in mind, we could see this turn into just a sideways trading range, which is another reason for me to look to get long in a situation like this. 6 seconds, see what we get as far as a close. I want to see an outside close, and then bet against on that break. Limit, oh, son of a bitch. Limit order out, no fill. There we go, we're filled. And I got a wrist pretty damn tight here. We'll risk that curl. And there you go. The fills on the followers we got, not great fills, by the way. So if I'm a maybe 2 points in the money and the P&L shows red, that's because our fills were not fantastic. In the followers, right? You're looking at the leader account on the chart here. But the P&L is more representative of where I sit in total. On this trade, at least. Let's see if these bulls can give us a nice little retest. At the high end of this range, of course. Yeah, my fills, man, in the followers, not great. Not great fills in the follower counts. That's all right, though. All right, bulls. Let's see if we can get another retest here of the highs. Currently in the middle of this little range here. Right? Thank you, Joe. I'd have to agree. All right, let's see if we can get a test of the high here. Well, volatility is slowing, that's for sure here. ATR looks like below 10 at this point. Looking for a retest. Thought Feeder, good question. Why do you prefer copy trading over just having a bigger account? Well, I do. I have a 300K, I have a 250K, I have a bunch of 150Ks, I have some 100Ks. You can get much bigger copy trading than you can with just a single 300K Apex, for example. The contract allowance that they advertise is much bigger than you really, in my opinion, should ever be getting in that one account. You can get much, much bigger collectively copy trading than you can. Well, I guess scaling horizontally than you can just scaling vertically, trading a whole bunch of contracts in one, like 300K. Vin, good morning. How we doing? All right, we got a minute 10 left here on this 2-minute bar. Again, the fills across the follower accounts, ugly, ugly. Probably about 2 points worse than the leader, if not maybe 2.5 points worse than the leader on average. Nico, are your followers market? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I tried for a long time to get my followers to work using limit orders. Finally, I I said, you know what? Part of prop trading is using market orders on the followers, because when you're scaling horizontally, if you have 20 accounts or more trying to all use limit orders, every single trade has massive issues. You don't get full fills, you get partial fills across the board. It's an absolute disaster. So finally I just said, all right, I'm gonna use limits on the leader, market orders on the followers. Fine by me. All right, there's the rollover. Inside close, they're out of the bears. So nothing I can do as far as management yet. Let's watch this bar here. This one closes nice and low. A strong bear bar that I would have to short if I were flat. Then I cut early and get flat. All right, 20 seconds out here. Let's see how this bar closes. I would manage it if it closes beneath the obvious wick. You guys see it, right? Here's the rollover. Nothing to do. All right, ATR is below 10. It's at about 9.5. It's pretty tight. It's all right. It's all right. We can work with 9.5. Big Dave, how do you get the ATR? You just eyeball it? No, it's down here. I overlay the ATR. I guess you would call it an indicator, though it's really just displaying information. I overlay the ATR, which is the blue line, with the range, which are the orange vertical lines. That's the range of each individual bar, and then the average true range of the last 10. In this case, since we're on a 2-minute chart, 2-minute bars. All right, 30 seconds out till the close here. See if the bears give us a nice strong close beneath that wick where my cursor's at. If we do, then I cut it early. If we don't, then I leave it on. $15 seconds out. Let's see what we got to do. Nothing to do. Move on. Next bar here. Let's see how this one works. Hey, CB, top left, man. It's on screen. All right, driving manually here, fingers on the hotkeys. Let's see if we can get a nice little retest here. Never quite got it. It's not good enough, not quite on that last push. This could be a thing, right? Keeping an eye on that. But lately in this market, man, I think it has not served traders all too well to start falling for the short-lived trend lines. So I'm trying to stay out of that, which is, you know, has seemed to be the right decision, maybe 60% of the time, which is more than enough. You're not going to be right, man, 98% of the time, like some people like to think. All right. Well, ATR is right at about 9. Slowing. It's all right. If that starts tanking off to like 5 or 6, then we got problems. But we're still holding about 9.5. What's ATR? ATR is the average true range. So since we're looking at a 2-minute chart, the ATR is the average range in points of a 2-minute bar based on the last 10 2-minute bars. All right. You know the bears are looking at this, right? The enemy, so to speak. We'll let them look at that. It's all right. Hey, listen, there's always a case opposite to yours. Structure a trade that, you know, makes mathematical sense to you and then see it through. All right, let's see. Looking for a retest of that recent high. 75, 76-ish. Hold it there at the retest. All right, let's move on. 16 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Now let's see if, I imagine we're probably going to see them have a little bit of trouble here at the retest. Let's see if the bears try to step in, wick that right back down. We're obviously, you know, we are in a soft bull trend. But I gotta tell you, unless we start turning this into a harder bull trend, I'm not entirely interested in getting long at the top of this range, because you gotta imagine, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this. But let's see how this next bar plays out. Minute 40 out. Hey, see that? Bear's trying to suck it right back into the range, man. It's really common in a market like this. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful betting on breakouts near the high. At least in a range market, right? In a trend market, it makes a lot of sense to do so. Buy high, sell higher in a range market. When you buy high, you oftentimes end up sideways trading range or a softer bull channel than you anticipated. All right, inside close there. Next bar, 2 minutes out. Let's see what we get. Good to have you, Tom. Good to have you. All right, minute 10 out until the close of this 2-minute bar. Let's see here. I mean, we got to be careful. I want to be careful here because the last trade, I got long on this close, right? Because we were in a soft bull channel. Now, what can happen a lot of times, and this is kind of like lazy trading, and I mean, we're all kind of guilty of it at one point or another, or you're just not seeing something properly, right? But right now, rather than still thinking about this as the same soft bull channel, which is certainly still a look, right? You wouldn't be wrong for saying that it is, you know, it's still kind of a soft bull channel, right? But for me now, what I'm seeing a lot of is this. Like, hey, what about that? You know, do I really want to get long in what basically is the middle of this bigger sideways trading range now? You're betting on the soft bull channel, but to me, this looks more enticing, probably to more people, as we get more and more bars here kind of fulfilling this. We live in a fog, man. You just got to make the best decision you can in the moment, and it gets a little easier with more experience to make discretionary calls. Yeah, I mean, listen, Andy, you can do whatever you want, man. For me, I'm not a huge fan of flat bottom, flat top, sideways channels. Just because the break, one way or another, which always ends up coming, is basically 50-50. At least in my experience. Brad! God, you love to see it. Past 10 50K evals and 4 Take Profit Trader 25Ks. Baby, you are off to the races, Brad. Let's go. Using code BIG. Bought 5 more Apex 25Ks using BIG. My man, I never could have imagined this without all your guidance and experience. Many thanks, my friend. Appreciate you being here, Brad. Everyone give Brad his props, man. He earned that shit. Man, having 14 fundeds is not to be taken lightly, especially when 4 of them are take profit traders. You are off to the races, my friend. Good job. All right, 70 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Oh man, it's hard. It's hard right now. This look is tough. It's especially foggy, more so than normal. I'm seeing that soft bull channel, but I'm really also seeing the potential for this to just flatten out and turn right into a sideways trading range. So, you gotta think, well, what would make the most sense for both of those scenarios? Well, a back test, maybe a couple of consecutive bear bars, and getting long without taking out this low. So maybe if you got a couple of bear bars closing maybe in this region, I could get long and cut it on this curl here, which is pretty damn tight risk with a decent probability, maybe 60%, at least 55. Right now, that would be the structure of a trade that makes the most sense for me. The problem is this channel, if it's a bull Bull channel still, it's real soft. So getting long up top is a tough, it's kind of a tall order. And if this turns into a sideways trading range, you're getting long right near the top of that trading range. So I can't do that. What's up, Redneck? How we doing? Good to see you. Brad's got 14 funded accounts, man. Just figuring out how to use the chat. That's how you know he's serious. He's not here to mess around, man. You guys see this? Slowing down, kind of looks like it could almost be a wedge, right? Probably draw it like this with a flat. But still, I mean, big picture, I'm still looking at this. Man, we got a bunch of new people here, man. If you have not done so yet, subscribe to the channel. I'm live daily, and we've got a great group. Whole lot of regulars here. Hope to see you become one of them. Yeah, Joe, that's right. Me neither. Me neither, man. The feelings are always right. All right, 3 trades so far, 2 winners, 1 loser. Man, ATR is collapsing. ATR is now down below 9. Don't want to complain too much, man, because it could be 5, but, you know, 8 something is not, it's not tremendous. Just gotta do what we can. All right, guys, I'm gonna pull the trick out of the hat. Whenever I leave for 2 minutes, this thing moves about 400 points. So I'm gonna be gone for 2 minutes. I'm gonna come back and it's gonna be about 400 points lower, market crashing, and we can ride a bear trying to make a whole bunch of money. What do you think? When that happens, scream and shout in the chat, all right? I wanna know when it happens. Back in 2. All right, we are back, baby. Son of a bitch, it didn't work. All right, here we got 12 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. Let's see here, inside close. Most likely. Let's see what we get. Yeah. It's an insecure bull bar right there. Wicking back, closing inside the previous wick high. That right there, that's some insecurity out of the bulls. X bar, minute 47 out. All right, I mean, the bull channel right now is so soft that I gotta tell you, the further this goes, the less willing I am to buy highs looking to sell higher, just because it's so soft and the pullbacks are coming easier. We're getting heavier mixture of red and bull bar, I'm sorry, of bull and bear bars. So, same deal here as, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. If we can get a couple of consecutive bear bars closing near their lows, with the second one closing near the bottom of not only itself, but also this soft bull channel, that for me would be a buy. Usually I have at least a couple of different options as far as trades that I can structure that make sense for me. Here I really have one to the long side that I could structure, at least as of right now, which we'll see if that plays out here in the next 4 minutes. But if we get a big news bar or something, or a couple of news bars that are within reason that start taking out this wick low and closing strongly beneath it, all of a sudden now there's a short setup potentially on the table. But as of right now, just gotta work with what we can. All right, Chad, you taking that trade, man? All right, 30 seconds out here to the close of this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. There he is. What's up, Chris? How we doing? Yes, Cody, I am. I don't take too many people on at once, but it's not a group. It's just one-on-one, straight up one-on-one. I have 2 options for that, but for straight up market mastery, I'll drop the link in the chat. All right, 55 seconds out till the close here of this 2-minute bar. Now, let's just have a conversation about this. If you were like, you know, hey, Nico, you have to take a trade at the close of this bar. If it closes near the high, that starts getting kind of foggy for me. But if we saw a nice bull close near the high, if I had to do something, I would probably short it for a quick scalp. If you're like, no, you have to hold it for at least an hour, I wouldn't want to do it, but I'd have to get long and then just hold it. Now, that doesn't mean I would do anything. Again, preferably, I'd really like to see a couple of consecutive bear bars pulling back, and then I could get long lower in the soft bull channel. That's really what I would want to do, but again, this is a hypothetical. You're telling me I have to do something. I like to think about these things. Even if I'm not going to take a trade, it's like, if I had to do something here, what would I do and why? And why would I not want to do it? You know, if you're going to put in the screen time, man, make it worth your while. Think. A lot of you guys want to be traders, man. I think you're probably like we're probably all relatively similar, right? I like to sit in my office, door closed, and think. And talk to you guys. What's up, squad? Hello, new to the channel. Do you have any videos breaking down your strategy? Best way to learn is going to be to watch the stream. I'll put out some videos here and there, but just being honest, it's... For you to learn the best way to do it is for free, watch the stream. If you want to go further, you can apply to work with me one-on-one, but watch the stream. I think you'll learn a lot. You know, a 10, 12-minute video, it's just not enough time for me to really lay out every scenario, which is why I think it's helpful to watch, because we see every scenario on live. You guys watch me, you know, take losses. You watch me make mistakes. You watch me miss entries. And you watch me catch some, right? But when you see every scenario in every market environment, I think that's how you probably learn the quickest. Even though it takes more time, of course. All right, minute 30 out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. You guys know what I'm looking for. I want to see a nice, ideally consecutive bear bars, but you know, one is not bad. I could work with a single bear bar closing near the low of this little soft bull channel. All right, 40 seconds out. Let's see here. Bull's trying to wick this thing back up. For me to get long, it needs to be a weak close. You might say, well, why would you buy a weak close? Fair question, because it's a trading range. Well, at least I believe it's a trading range. By the way, anytime I say something, if I say like, hey, this is a trading range or this is a trend, understand that I'm speaking in probabilities. I will never speak in certainties. I've been doing this long enough to know that that is a foolish game to play. All right, inside close, next bar, 2 minutes out. Very nice, Vin. Hope yours was as well. Alex, how long have you been trading for? Like 8, 9 years. Opened my first account in like 16, 17. I'd have to look back to be sure. But around that time. All right. Minute 43 out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Alex, how long did it take you to become profitable? I'm on my 5th year, not profitable yet. Listen, that's okay. Everyone's gonna look a little bit different. For me, it took as I rounded into kind of like that 3rd year, so like a little over 24, 25 months, maybe 26 months. I was finally relatively consistent at that point. And then as far as being like full-time, like paying pretty much all of our bills with just trading income, both my now wife, we weren't married yet, my now wife and I's bills, probably like 3 years in. Probably about 3 years in. Maybe two and a half, 3 years in. I was pretty much what you could call full-time. Because I was paying everything with just trading profits. Nope. Nope, still very active. Roy, what is the lowest ATR you've ever seen? Good God, like 3? Maybe 2.5. 4th of July was pretty damn low, man. Yeah, Alex, hey, as long as you're actually trying to get better, if you stick with it, eventually the tide turns and you flip positive as far as the edge. Now, when does that not happen? 2 scenarios. When you quit. 3 scenarios. When you quit, which everyone does, which is why they fail. And then they say, oh, it's all a scam. No, you just didn't try hard enough for long enough for it to be reasonable that you'd be able to pull as much money as you can out of the market. With a big opportunity like this, it's difficult to get over the hump, but you have to stick with it. It takes time. So that's number 1. If you quit, you will certainly not make it work. Number 2 is if you can't get over the gambling addiction in you. If you're a gambling addict and you start trading a lot of people, I see. And I've worked with people, man, who who come to me, and it's pretty clear they have a gambling addiction, and they are open with me that they have a gambling addiction. We've gotten them over it. It wasn't so easy, but we've gotten them out of it and actually into successful traders. Crazy enough. It's not really my specialty, but we got it. And number 3, if you aren't really putting in the time, you have to try to get better. Put in the screen time, watch the candles, think about them thoroughly. Think about, hey, what makes sense as far as mathematically structuring a trade that I think can have a reasonable percentage of edge. What is edge? Statistical edge, right? Same thing the casino has against you when you're playing against them. That's the business model here, man. All right, man. ATR is about 7.4. Coming back in here for a test of high of day. Yes, sir. The crew is growing, Christian. You're damn right. All right, 30 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. You can see, man, the bulls are struggling. Bears wicking it right back. You get a pop through, you move a point and a quarter, 5 ticks, get wicked right back. What does that say, man? That has range market written all over it. Good to have you, Tony. Stick around, brother. Ooh, this is a good question. Name. What's your mindset every day with a new market start? I come into every day with zero bias. Zero bias. I look at bottom of your screen, the New York session daily, and I say, okay, what's the market environment? What's the market context? Markets have inertia. They're resistant to change. The context is still range market, especially on Friday. It's like, okay, the potential is starting to form. Maybe we end up entering a bit of a trend market, but we're not there yet. You guys remember me saying that on Friday? And here we are. We're not there yet. Coming right back into the range here with today's New York session bar so far. Okay, range market on the daily. Now, my bias is not long or short, is it? It's range or trend. Then we just trade the price action. So, okay, range market on the daily still. Then we come down and we say, okay, here, actually, top left, 5-minute chart, right? Okay. Decent bull trend off the open, short-lived, right back into a range. Right back into a range, soft little bull channel. That's my bias, I guess. Hey, range or trend. And then obviously the price action just tells us whether to go long or short. And it's never a certainty, right? It's just, hey, you know, does this have a 55+% probability at a 1-to-1 reward to risk? Obviously those numbers change as you change the reward to risk, but hey, does the equation make mathematical sense based on our assessment, our quick assessment? That's why it's, you know, incredibly crucial, I think, to track your data. Otherwise, you don't really have an idea of what works for you. All right, guys, ATR 7.5. It's time for me to go eat chicken and rice for the 5,000th time in my life. And then come back and I'll trade the afternoon to my own and see if we can put a little more together. We are green. 3 trades so far today, kind of light as far as trading volume. 2 winners, 1 loser so far here today. But all right, guys, hope you guys have a great afternoon. Hey, listen, seriously, be patient. Let it come to you. In these market environments, try not to force anything in the middle of the range, man. With all these dojis, let that be algo and degenerate territory. Wait for your turn. And when it is your turn, even if it's your turn 4 times in 20 minutes, you got to hit them. All right, so be patient. Wait for it to come to you. And when it does, fucking hit it hard. All right, guys, use code BIG. Best deal always. Take Profit Trader, Apex. And now, Tradeify. Brand new. That's stop number 3. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. See you in the morning.